Hey everyone, I'm Krexu, and welcome back to another video on this channel. Without further ado, let's jump right in. The first mod was suggested by viewer Some Unknownus. Thanks for the suggestion. Autowork is a genuinely really interesting and unique mod for people who like automation, but aren't really into huge machines, cables, and complicated power systems like in Create. The mod was built in a vanilla style, so all the mechanics fit really well with the overall Minecraft vibe. Instead of adding more power sources, the mod focuses on simple blocks that automate everyday tasks using redstone, item flow, and minecarts. The biggest strength of this mod is the sheer number of practical blocks. You'll find things like the drill, which automatically mines blocks using whatever tools placed inside it, the placer, which lets you automatically place blocks, and the extractor, which moves items between chests. There's also faster versions of hoppers in the form of chutes, plus special filters. That makes building farms and simple little factories way easier. And what's cool is the author also went pretty deep into a system built around minecarts. The mod adds special loaders and unloaders that automatically load and unload items from minecarts, which makes transporting resources by rail way more practical than in vanilla. There's genuinely a ton of new redstone related stuff packed in here, and the best part is everything's nicely explained in game, so you definitely won't get lost trying to figure out what does what. In my opinion, this mod is perfect for people who aren't into Create but still want a convenient way to automate their farms or storage setups. ARKANE Domains is a pretty massive mod that adds completely new bosses, new structures, and brand new weapons with unique mechanics of their own. For now, the mod only adds 3 new bosses, but the authors already said they've got plans to add a bunch more down the line. Each boss spawns in its own unique structure tied to a specific biome. For example, you'll only find the cursed Feur out in the desert inside his temple, while the druid hangs out in his little house in the taiga biome. Every boss comes with its own set of defenders, its own abilities, and unique loot, like their own personal weapon, which comes packed with special abilities. You can knock enemies back, heal yourself, or attack using runes and different kinds of items, like ones that give you fall damage resistance. In my opinion, this mod is genuinely really well made, and I'm definitely looking forward to whatever updates the authors got coming next. Villager Retaliation is a unique mod that completely changes how villagers work, since from now on, they actually remember how you treat them, build up their own opinion of you, and are able to defend themselves against threats. That makes villages start to feel like actual living communities instead of just a bunch of helpless NPCs. The biggest highlight of this mod is, of course, the reputation system. Every single villager keeps track of your actions individually, so one resident might trust you, while another one might flat out hate your guts. Trading, helping out during monster attacks, or completing tasks builds up trust, while stealing, attacking villagers, or destroying their stuff ruins your relationship really fast. What's interesting is that reputation doesn't just affect item prices, it also affects how the villagers themselves behave. And obviously you can no longer just beat up villagers with no consequences. If you attack one, they won't just helplessly run away anymore. Some villagers can actually fight back, and witnesses can call for backup from other nearby adult villagers. On top of that, every profession has its own unique fighting style. Fletchers use bows and crossbows, while farmers swing their hoes. The mod also adds a whole dialogue, gift, and quest system, but I don't want to spoil everything because this could go on forever. Definitely one of the more underrated mods out there. In vanilla Minecraft, you're basically stuck with item frames, which can get pretty boring after a while. Items Displayed is a mod that lets you place a bunch of items directly into the world as full 3D models, so your bases or storage rooms can look way more detailed. From now on, you can display things like ingots, pottery shards, smithing templates, amethyst, music discs, and a bunch of other valuable items. Instead of stashing everything away in chests, you can decorate your base in a really nice looking way. On top of that, you get a special item display that works kind of like an armor stand, but lets you rotate items at any angle you want. Not all of them, but things like pottery shards, for example. A perfect mod to throw into bigger mod packs as an extra add-on. Trial Guardians is another mod that adds completely new dungeon structures, along with a few new mini-bosses. The mod adds specially reworked trial chambers that generate randomly, so every exploration run ends up feeling a bit different. At the end of each dungeon, you'll find mini-bosses, each with their own special abilities. There are 3 types of chambers. The first one is full of lava, and at the end, you'll fight a special guardian who's the weakest out of the 3. The second chamber is full of water, and at the end, you'll face off against 2 hydras, which will shoot at you with a bow and teleport away whenever you get close to them. And the last and hardest chamber is something like a mine shaft. At the end, you'll run into a minotaur with fast and really powerful attacks. Of course, after beating each one, you'll get different kinds of loot. In my opinion, this is the perfect mod for adding a few new structures and mini bosses, livening up an empty world without really adding any new items to the game. We've been growing like crazy lately, so hit that subscribe button and join the crew. Homesteads Villager Expansion is a mod that adds 5 brand new villager professions, along with a handful of new structures scattered across the world, making exploration way more interesting and giving trading a lot more depth. From now on, while traveling, you can run into completely new settlers with these new professions. Each one generates in different biomes and comes with its own specialty. For example, the lumberjack deals with wood and saplings, the trapper trades animal-related items, while the prospector specializes in ores and mining. This makes trading way more varied compared to vanilla. Of course, the mod also adds new job site blocks tied to each profession. Every block has its own use and lets you perform extra actions. For example, you can turn rotten flesh into leather or sift through gravel looking for resources. You'll also be able to encounter these new villagers in the new structures, which means these new professions aren't just more villagers to trade with, they actually feel like residents living outside of the usual villages. Dynamic Waters is a small but really interesting mod that completely reworks how rivers generate, so now they actually have a clear direction and their own current, which can push players, animals, or dropped items around. That makes the world feel a lot more natural and alive. From now on, rivers generate as their own separate element of the world and adapt their path to the terrain, creating more natural valleys, canyons, and riverbeds. The river current itself is really well done too, since flowing water can actually push players, animals, and various items floating in it. On top of that, the author keeps actively developing the mod and regularly improves the world generation. In the latest updates, we got, among other things, full compatibility with the Tectonic mod, which is a massive plus. The Great Outdoors is a mod that adds a ton of new stuff like new types of animals, completely new biomes, new types of food, new decorations, and a new kind of wood. But starting from the top, the mod adds a brand new biome featuring geothermal fields. While exploring, you can come across geysers, hot springs, mud pots, and a whole new set of plants, which makes this biome really stand out compared to the standard ones. Beyond the biome itself, the mod also adds a bunch of new animals. You can run into things like bears, cougars, pronghorns, marmots, tiny birds, and even small snakes. This adds a bit more variety and brings the whole world to life. And if that's not enough, the mod also adds 2 new structures, watchtowers and special tourist centers. In these spots, you can find a new villager profession and grab a bunch of new food from chests. There are also new decorative blocks, plants, and a whole new set of wood types coming from this new biome. In my opinion, this is one of those mods that doesn't go overboard with a massive amount of content, but does it in a really well-balanced way. Mini Blocks Items Edition is a cool mod, or more like a data pack really, made especially for people who love decorating their builds and are always looking for new ways to add small details to their projects. From now on, you'll be able to turn regular items into miniature versions of themselves, which you can then use as decorations. That means your storage rooms, houses, or gardens can end up looking way more detailed and nice. All you have to do is throw the item you want into a stone cutter, and you'll get a shrunk down version of it, ready to be placed in the world. The data pack adds over 150 different miniature items. You'll find things like miniature buckets, diamonds, ingots, books, potions, food, ender pearls, nether stars, and even different kinds of mine carts. What's cool is that every single one of these decorations is just a player head under the hood, so everything stays true to the vanilla style. Flimsy Torches is definitely one of the more unique mods out there. It completely changes how torches and lanterns work, since from now on, they won't burn forever. Every torch gradually wears down, going through several burnout stages until it eventually goes out completely. That makes exploring caves and securing your base way more demanding. As for lanterns, you can now place torches inside them, and those will burn out a lot slower than normal. That turns lanterns into more than just decoration. They become a practical way to light up your base long term. Of course, you can still craft regular torches that stay lit forever, but those will require a magma cream in the recipe. There are a few extra mechanics too. Villagers can actually swap out burnt out torches nearby on their own, and the mod comes with configuration options that let you, among other things, change how long torches take to burn out. In my opinion, this is a really interesting mod. It makes the early game slightly harder and forces you to manage your lighting better in those early stages. Vox the TV Demon is a pretty unique mod that adds a brand new dimension along with a really strong boss and a completely new weapon. The mod adds a powerful boss, but you won't find it anywhere in the overworld, since the author built it a totally separate dimension that you have to access using a special item. After teleporting, you end up in a brand new dimension made mostly out of obsidian, where you'll have to find a massive structure where the boss is waiting for you. The author themselves mentioned that this is meant to be a straight up endgame boss, and they recommend only fighting it once you've got got netherite gear and a solid stockpile of healing items. The boss has 2 whole phases, and each one comes with its own set of attacks, which makes the fight way more demanding than going up against most standard enemies. And of course, there are rewards for beating the boss too. Once you win, you get a special item that lets you return to the overworld, but the coolest loot by far is the Vox gun, a new weapon that shoots lasers and lightning bolts. Enemies hit by it can get set on fire or zapped with lightning, although the weapon does have a reload time between shots that, in my opinion, is a little too long. Other than that, I think this is a genuinely good mod, and it's honestly way too underrated. Next up on our list is the Potion Combiner mod. This one's a genuinely really useful mod for anyone who uses potions a lot and is tired of having their whole inventory filled up with different little potions. The mod adds a special table that lets you combine several potions into one while keeping all of their effects intact, so instead of carrying a strength potion, a speed potion, and a regeneration potion separately, you can just create one combined potion that has all those properties at once. And obviously, you can do the same thing with negative potions, combining those together too. Honestly, if this kind of mechanic were just a standard part of the game, I think a lot more people would actually start using different kinds of potions. Perry's Decorations 2 is a well-made decoration mod that adds a bunch of new decorations in a vanilla style. From now on, while building, you've got decorations to choose from, like stacks of books, stacks of paper, different kinds of barrels, decorative lanterns, old TVs, and a ton of different woodpile variants. And honestly, that wood is my favorite part of this mod because it looks great for things like farms or villages. And if that's not enough, there's a really cool mechanic added on top. Basically, every block from this mod can be rotated at a 45-degree angle using item frames, which gives you way more freedom when decorating interiors or putting together more detailed builds. And that's exactly the kind of mechanic that's missing from pretty much every decoration mod out there. In my opinion, this is the perfect lightweight decoration mod that still gives you a ton of value when building out your bases. Bartering Station is a cool mod for anyone who trades with piglins a lot and is sick of manually tossing gold ingots over and over. The mod adds one simple but really useful block that completely automates the whole bartering process. With it, you can basically turn a group of piglins into a small resource farm that runs almost entirely without you having to lift a finger. All you have to do is put gold ingots into the new table, and the station will automatically hand them over to nearby piglins. What's cool is that all the items you get back go straight into the station, so you don't have to run around picking up scattered loot. That makes farming obsidian, ender pearls, quartz, and other bartering items way more convenient. And if that's not enough, the mod works with hoppers too, so you can build a fully automatic system that feeds gold into the station and collects everything you get in return. One table can handle up to 6 nearby piglins at once, so if you want a bigger farm, just place a few of these tables next to each other. It's just one new block, but bro, look how much it can change. Underlay is a unique mod that lets you place certain blocks in the same spot where another block is already standing. So you can create much more detailed and good-looking builds without using commands or any complicated building tricks. The biggest advantage of this mod is the ability to place blocks like carpets, trapdoors, buttons, rails, or pressure plates underneath other blocks. So for example, you can put a carpet under a chest, a bed, a torch, a sign, or even under stairs. There's also a configuration option. If the default list of supported blocks feels too limited, you can expand it yourself with extra blocks from other mods. That makes Underlay work really well with bigger mod packs focused on building and interior decorating. This is definitely a mod that in a way transforms and improves a ton of our build ideas. Restaured Trail Village is a genuinely really cool mod for anyone who thinks trail ruins have a lot of potential, but feel kind of underused in vanilla Minecraft. Let's be honest, basically nobody ever bothers going to them. The mod brings these ancient settlements tied to the trail ruins back to life, adding a brand new village that generates in the jungle biome. So while exploring, you can now stumble upon a whole new type of settlement that fits the trail ruins vibe perfectly. The structure was built to look like a rebuilt version of the old ruins. And what's cool is, the mod also adds special loot along with a few new villager traders. In my opinion, this is the perfect mod for your world. A great way to replace those ruins that literally nobody ever visits. Traveler Tool Belt is the perfect quality of life mod for anyone who's sick of their inventory getting clogged up with tools and constantly having to rearrange their hotbar. The mod adds a special tool belt that lets you store your most important items in a separate spot and switch between them instantly. That makes exploring, building, or even just regular mining way more convenient. At first, the belt only has 2 slots, but you can gradually upgrade it through crafting, increasing its capacity all the way up to 9 slots. What's cool is that by default, it can hold pretty much any item that doesn't stack, so it's perfect for keeping your pickaxes, axes, shovels, shears, or other frequently used tools. All you have to do is hold down R by default and pick the item to grab it in your hand. And of course, you can tweak the mod settings a bit, for example through the mod menu. In my opinion, this is the perfect quality of life mod that should be in every single mod pack. Magnetizing is a genuinely really interesting mod for anyone who's into automation and all kinds of redstone mechanics. The mod adds a whole set of items and blocks based on magnets, letting you attract or repel different objects in the world. That means you can build cool farms, new item transport systems, or just mess around with physics in a pretty creative way. The core piece of the mod is a new ore called magnetite. It generates in the world similarly to iron, and it's the basic resource you need to craft magnets. The mod adds 2 different types of magnets. The red magnet attracts objects while the blue one does the exact opposite and pushes away everything in its range. The standard block magnets affect objects in every direction, and you can freely adjust their range just by right-clicking. There's also directional magnets, which only work in one direction and are perfect for building more advanced mechanisms. With these, you can create all sorts of transporters, traps, or automatic systems for moving mobs and items around. And if that's not enough, the mod also throws in special anti-magnetic boots, plus small magnets you can just hold in your hand. In my opinion, this is one of the more creative tech mods out there. It doesn't add huge machines or complicated systems, but with a few simple mechanics, it lets you build some genuinely cool stuff. Next up in today's episode is Feur Extension Desert, and it's all about expanding desert biomes, adding new structures, decorations, and points of interest that make trekking through the wasteland way more interesting. From now on, while exploring the desert, you can stumble upon brand new pyramids hiding all kinds of treasure, abandoned houses, mysterious ruins, or even some really atmospheric oases that do a great job of spicing up the desert biome. What's cool is that the mod also adds new cactus variants and different rock formations made out of sandstone. At first glance, the cacti might look a little weird since they're not connected, but you literally won't even notice it during gameplay, and the whole world just ends up looking way better. A huge plus is that this mod was designed as an add-on that extends the existing world generation, so it shouldn't conflict with most other mods that add structures. In my opinion, this is one of the more interesting vanilla plus style mods out there. It's a simple way to make those empty deserts feel way more interesting and alive. A good place is a really small modification that's basically an add-on to make the whole gameplay smoother without actually changing anything. The mod focuses on just one single element: block placement. From now on, every block you place gets its own little spawn-in animation, which makes building look way more satisfying to watch. The mod comes with 2 different versions of the placement animation, and switching between them is as easy as activating the right resource pack. In my opinion, this is the kind of add-on that should be in every single mod pack because it just makes building feel so much smoother. I'm really glad you made it this far into the video. Don't forget to smash that like button and leave a nice comment below. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.